My name is Chris Claremont. You're watching Omni X-Men.
Yeah, and we made Chris watch that. Welcome back. It's the Omni X-Men, and that means it's Tuesday. That means that I'm reading through another issue of Chris Claremont's epic run on the Uncanny X-Men, and that means I got this guy right here.
Dude, I totally forgot to play that clip last week. Man,
I'm never gonna forget.
Missed opportunity. I was too
Hashtag
busy
never forget
doing my Tom Cruise bit. So it's just,
and I had a question for you. So I know we're only 1 minute in. I'm already gonna trivia you.
Oh god.
I know you're a Maverick fan. Do you know the character's first and last name?
Oh man, I just thought of this the other day.
I had to get you.
It's so funny because I remember.
I don't know that they even mention it, but like once or twice in these movies, right?
Yeah, no, I thought about the question that question. I'm like, what is his real name? And not off the top of my head. No.
All right, I'm gonna give you a little time, and I'm gonna instead introduce our guest. I have a guest that we have not had on this program in 2 and a couple episode years now of this show. Big X-Men fan, because I'll tell you, I've chatted with this guy a ton about the Hickman era, about the Hickman storylines, about the big events that Hickman's been doing, and he is way up on the current stuff, way more than me. And when I've got questions, I always ask Chaos, because Chaos knows. What has happened to you? How many fists are you gonna use tonight?
Yeah, other hands just start coming out.
How many fists are you gonna use tonight? Not my wife. Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not following Chaos and Comics, the Instagram and the YouTube links are down below. But Chris, I gotta say, like, you are one of the most knowledgeable and well-read comic book guys I know. So, how do you keep up with everything?
I mean, I surprise people about how much I actually don't know. For example, I know a lot about the Claremont run, but that's mostly from reading the Wikia page, where it's a lot more palatable and more interesting.
Pow, pow. You knew that you were going to come in guns a-blazing, ready to roll on this. Have you read a ton of it, or are you serious that you've mostly read the later stuff?
No, I've read big chunks of it throughout my comic book history. Obviously, I've read Dark Phoenix Saga. I've read the beginning. I think for a long time I told myself I was going to read the Outback era that I've never have read, which you guys are probably like 2 years from.
Yeah, we're getting closer to, yeah.
3 years or whatever. But I will say this: if there's an era I actually would like that I haven't read a lot of, it's this one, this more galactic one. Yeah. Cool. So maybe I'll surprise you and I'll have read this book and I'll tell you that I loved it.
You were won over by the Chode. That's
Chode. Yes, at least Chode is. That's what I kept telling myself as I read it. At least Chode is here.
Yeah,
I know. You were lucky. We saved this Chode for you.
Yeah.
Let's say hello. Let's say hello to our friends in the chat. Specifically, we're kicking off with Magic Lasso. He says, "Why don't they let Colossus participate in talent shows? Because he always steals the show." Corsair does have a banging workout outfit. It's a banger. We got Scott, the Hoarder's Hide. What is it?
Scott? Hoarder's Hide is the best person in the community right now. He's my top #1 person in the community right now.
Ooh. Is it just because of his outfits when he's hanging out with Tyler?
Yeah, it wasn't. Was Tyler even on the stream?
He was at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 50 of those dollars were mine.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a story. I thought that they were just really pressuring him, so I ended up spending $50 on I already said I was going to do it, but then I didn't want to them to keep pressuring him, so I said I'll put $50 on Mark's mystery box, and so that's what I did. And then 5 minutes later, he shows up with a picture, and I felt like I had to still give it. So, at the end of the day, it was for cancer research, so it's okay.
And,
but
for an amazing hairdo for
great,
those guys.
great sport. He's in my power rankings #1 right now.
There you go. And we got Candace in the chat. Good evening, Candace. How are you doing?
What up, Candace?
Good to see you. We got the Jackson Roy Kirk, the one and only. And we got Sove Collector. What's going on, Michael? Happy Tuesday. And Gore Vidal says Claremont is Chris's go-to comfort food.
Oh yes, he knows.
Boom.
Is that? I don't think that's accurate. You don't deal well with peer pressure, but we appreciate you just the same, sir.
You did.
So we are starting off these shows more with questions to get to know our guest a little bit. I know we interviewed him a little quickly there at the beginning, but Justin's got 2 questions. Hopefully he remembers to ask here. So go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, we got to first ask just, who's your favorite X-Men character or mutant character, I should say.
I don't know. I like them all. I would say in a job interview, they asked me if you had one superpower, what would it be? And I said Nightcrawler at the time, although at the first episode of this season, John did one up me with the, what's his name?
Gateway.
With the portal guy.
Gateway,
so that would be superior. Yeah, but I also want to look like a demon and have a cool tail. So that's a plus.
You get all that, right?
Yeah, and also Nightcrawler recently got laid despite being Catholic or whatever. He got it on with an Iraqi, so
multiple times.
Got some tail.
Oh yeah, nonstop. Yeah, they were like doing detective work. So
the benefit of being Gateway though is he's always around in just his underwear, right? He's just wearing a little thong or whatever.
Yeah, what is Nightcrawler wearing anyway? Like, what is that?
It looks really like hard to say. It's got like a pop collar.
Yeah, it's like he stole Vampirella's outfit. Except
yeah, that's accurate. That's accurate.
Except he's like a ugly mutant German. So.
What is up? That we got Big O in the chat. What's going on, Paul? We got Brock. What's going on, Brock?
Right, all right.
You guys want to see my Vampirella cosplay?
Oh God.
Oh.
I don't think so. The Ex-Wife Podcast is here. Good evening to you all.
All correct answers or responses, they said.
Yeah, right.
All right. So that's good. Yeah. So I'll change this up a little bit. Second question: what is your favorite all-time X-Men story arc?
Oh, I like the terrible ones. Ooh. All my favorite ones are the terrible ones. For sure, and I don't know that I would argue it for quality, but for sure for how important it was to me. And how excited I got from it is Age of Apocalypse. So, and I love that whole series. They did a bunch of weird stuff, and I know the omnibus like puts the preludes ahead of it, so it doesn't.
They have yet to really find a great way to collect Age of Apocalypse, in my opinion.
Yeah, they just got to do it. It's hard to say too because I mean they just got to put it together in the order that it was released. Just do it that way,
It makes more sense.
I tried to read it and I don't know where they placed me. It was on the app, the Marvel app, and they had the collection, but I think as you were saying, Chris, like it put me, I don't know. I was confused right off the bat.
They like revisited it in the middle of the 2000s or something like that. I mean, really you need to just read Legion Quest. And then that goes, I mean, that's where Legion accidentally kills his dad. Right. And then all of the titles is the first time they did the whole title switch, and then read those. Wow. And to be honest, I don't even know where to go. I want to read all those prequels and stuff. I don't even know really where to go. I haven't sat down and done it
yet. The best way I did it, I found some complete collections that were like 4 like really big trade paperbacks, like just giant trade paperbacks. And that was the best way I could read it. But before that, I had only read it in individual issues that I had purchased. So I was reading it all over the map. It was a very challenging read. I feel like if you're not really getting all of that event, you don't get to experience it the right way.
Yeah. And it's like not an event either, right? It's like all the books changing individually. And then there's like some general common thread. And then eventually like they start crossing over number 4, like Weapon X has to like show up.
Yeah.
And I've only read them in the single issues. All the single issues are easy to get. So,
Yeah. They're like all dollar bin books. They're not.
Yeah.
There's very few like keys in that run.
Well,
there's some like the gold, like the gold chromium and stuff like that is sometimes hard to find, but that's only for someone like me that just would get them all. So
I know Daryl, Read Your Comics. He was like on a binge for that. But I couldn't keep up with him. So
he was really powering through it. And I was reading my complete collections, but I had a hard time keeping up with it.
Yeah.
But it's honestly, I think it's a fun 90s event that is so over the top and ridiculous. The costumes, the hair. I can enjoy it for the fun Elseworlds of it all.
Yeah. And it's, and it matters. Dark Beast comes from there. X-Man comes from there. that they had to.
Is
they
that
had to
Pixie? Is that her name? Pixie?
Pixie doesn't come from there. I don't think. Oh, you're thinking of Blink.
Blink. Sorry, you're right.
Blink comes from there.
Yeah.
So a couple of them like snuck through. Sugar Man.
Yep.
Is from Age of Apocalypse, and I mean the X-Man was cool, but they OP'd him like they do every character, and they had to get rid of him. You could tell like when I look back on it, they had this whole like 12 arc thing to where they did Age of X-Men.
Oh my god, it was way too much. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it, but I love X-Man, right? But I'm the only person on history that loves him. But they had to get rid of him because Hickman didn't want him floating around. It's funny because he has Legion floating around, but he didn't need like a god level, a super god level guy floating around, So, but you guys are going to get a taste of Age of Apocalypse because they're going to do something like it with Sinister in January. So,
well, we'll see. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. One other random fact here, John, about Chris, and this is just ties into John, your and I daily conversations. Chris, I blame Chris for the me being hooked on Quirtle. He's the one that introduced me to Quirtle, and so now it's been downhill for me, and that's all.
You still do that?
John and I literally text each other our results every day.
Oh, do you? You still do Quirtle? Wow.
Quirtle and
They're
Wordle.
going to finish 4 times earlier. I was just waiting for the words because soar is the best word to start with.
Wait, what word?
Soar.
So it's soar, which is the baby eagle. SOARE.
SOARE. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you don't have those, then you can go right to like the T's, the N's. You know what I mean? Those second tier.
Let me write this down. Hold on. Let me get a pen here.
Yeah.
Holding
What
that on me,
happens
Cal.
then is you always start with soar and then it gets boring, right? Like then you.
So
I change it up completely.
This is where JP be like, see, your 2 questions
I
at
know,
the beginning
I know.
are
Yeah,
going
usually-
now Justin introduces the 3rd question. You guys are doing this.
I had to
listen,
throw that in
issue,
there.
This issue sucked. Let's just interview me the rest of the
Well, let's get into it, right?
I liked it. It was okay.
Let's dive right in. I got the slideshow all locked and loaded here.
All right.
Let's talk about. Oh wait, so we save final thoughts to the end, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about issue 156 here. Stick around to the end. We'll ask questions about 155 and the show we did on Justin's channel, and we'll be back on Justin's channel next week for 157. So make sure that you're subscribed. All his stuff is down there below as well. But let's talk about this cover. The Starjammers are back, baby. Justin, what are your thoughts on this?
It's Chode. It's Chode on the front cover, and it's giant Chode.
Larger than life, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I own this copy or this.
I don't know if I've seen a Chode that big. Ever.
Yes,
that's the biggest one.
That's
I've
without
ever
a
seen.
doubt, for sure.
Let's go backstage.
I just like I do like the epicness of this. It reminds me of, I guess like your typical, I don't know, like Star Wars or any other where they just show all the characters and they're all aligned perfectly in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, just seeing this team on the front cover would have me excited because I have really enjoyed all the Starjammer stuff that we've read so far, and not that there's that much, but I would definitely, as I always say, like if I saw this on the, walking in a store for the first time as a kid, like I would definitely want to at least pick it up and take a look at it. So
for sure.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Chris? What do you think of this cover?
I like it. It's a cool 80s cover. I can see a kid at that age like grabbing this, maybe even one that's not like looking for X-Men, right? Because it looks a little different. I would keep everyone standing exactly the way they were, and I would just put Chode in front though to block us.
Everybody's
all we get
behind him.
Yeah, all we get was Chode and maybe like a little bit of Storm's 80s hair metal haircut.
Yep. And you could see like one of Corsair's legs sticking out underneath somewhere.
Yeah, just one leg. Hopefully he sits on Corsair.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I love that they chose not to do a complicated background because I think it would just be so busy you wouldn't be able to see it.
Yeah.
So the simple white background kind of works for me on this. I don't like that we don't get our characters on the cover, so that's a little bit of a drag. But like you guys are saying, the lineup, the charge of it all kind of like works for me.
I do like the top left-hand corner. That's a bit different than what we've been getting, right? I think just seeing the characters jump
the corner
out.
box with
The
them
corner
running.
box. Yeah. I like that. That's different.
All right. Well, then let's rock and roll here. We start right off with Colossus died. If you didn't watch last week, Colossus not only had like acid all over his chest and like was melting away, then he got stabbed. Like they stabbed that guy. It really escalated. And that's where we left off. And everybody was sort of standing around in their underwear watching this guy die. It's kind of shocking. So this is our splash page to jump back in. Chris, were you aware of the previous issue?
I read the previous issues.
Okay. So
I wanted to keep up.
Yeah. Because I think it's kind of a buck wild way to start an issue, right?
Yeah, no, it's that. This is the right way to start an issue. It's connective tissue. You know, there's a cliffhanger at the end. It was the 80s where maybe that was a more meaningful cliffhanger. Now we're all angry 30 years later, don't believe any deaths, right? But, at the time it was probably, it probably grabbed the preteens of 1983.
Yep. Justin, are you happy we get back right where we left off?
So I love the mood of everything. And as Chris said, like, you're just jumping right into the next issue, which I like. The only thing is the way that both Cyclops and Colossus are laying there it's identical to the cover of 155. And
right.
I just think it's odd that they did that, or why give us that in 155? I mean, I get they give us that in 155 because they want you to like open up the book and like, whoa, someone might die in this one. But then they like restart this new issue with it's identical. At least those two characters. I actually even now I'm looking at it. Even Wolverine is standing right there too. Like I don't know.
Cochran was on the way out. He's like, I need to double up. I don't want to work harder.
Let me blow you up there.
Like that's the cover. So I mean, you have Storm crying. And Tigra is further in the back there, but compared to that splash page, I don't know. I like splash pages, especially the beginning of each of these. Like it's such a big opportunity to like wow us, and I don't know. I just was like, they just took the cover of the last issue and put it on here. I don't know. Like obviously it's emotional, and so I don't put it down for those reasons, but I just hoped it was a little different. That's all, I guess, compared to the cover.
The difference is it looks like Wolverine stabbed him because he's like,
yeah. That's he's like, oh crap, I forgot to ditch this thing.
America. Except he's Canadian.
I will agree that like the art's a little off for me because the size of characters seems a little like Storm seems a little squishy, like a little short. She doesn't seem as tall as she usually does to me. I don't know. The sizing of
her outfit's super tight.
I mean, the usual.
Yeah. I think this this one or the next one is what's his name? Cochran?
Dave Cockrum.
Dave Cockrum. It's his last issue, I think. So he's dialing it in.
Yeah.
Probably already got fired.
There's been some issues with consistency in the last couple of issues where certain pages seem like they're drawn by other people, perhaps.
Finished up with them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And Chet says lazy art again. Yeah.
There it is. I know he's not a fan because we got away from the Byrne era.
Yeah.
So then we get this great. Okay, so this sequence instantly reminded me of the moment in No Way Home when or is it Far From No Way Home? No Way Home?
Far From Home. No Way Home.
One of the Spider-Man movies when all the Spider-Men are talking, he's like, I'm a member of the Avengers. And they're like, is that a band?
Oh, yeah.
You're in the band? This is like, she's like, I'm an Avenger. And they're like, I don't care. What is that?
So what?
The cops are hilarious. And then you have this guy who's like in the air traffic control tower, and he's having like a mental breakdown. All of this like plot side stuff, just so that a spaceship can show up, teleport our characters away, and fly off.
It's a lot of panel usage there.
There's a ton of plot here that we don't need at all. That's kind of hilarious, and all of it made to look like Tigra is so useless that they're like, we don't need her.
I mean, it's normal Claremont to do a lot of filler and no killer here, but I see this often though, like when they force a guest star in for some reason, Tigra. I've seen it a million times where Daredevil shows up in Punisher or Punisher shows up in Daredevil, and like they do their little thing, and then like you have to have like some ill-fitting reason that one of them leaves. Like you gotta write them out of the story.
Yep.
So in this case, she's the only one that just doesn't get zapped up with the rest of them.
Yeah. In this case, they're like, okay, and then Tigra, she's just gonna go watch soap operas now, I guess. I don't know what she.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because it's not like the Starjammers know who Tigra is? Like, they
Yeah.
could have easily been like, oh yeah, she's clearly on the team. Look at her. She's in a bikini and has like fur all over her. She's
Yeah,
probably
she looks
good now,
mutated.
right?
Yeah.
But they were like, pass.
Go fight Wonder Woman, I think.
Someone's up in that ship, and they're just like, all right, zap that one up, zap that the one over. We don't need that one. Don't zap that one.
It's
It's
Chode.
It's Chode. You just
right.
zapped up X genes.
Justin, any thoughts here?
I do also wonder with some of this, fluff, showing the guys with the computer or whatever. They do like or I think it's on this one where they do reference like, they reference X-Men 154. And I know that at this era, that was such an opportunity to try to get people to just, I didn't read that one. Let me see what they're referring to with, whatever this is that they're referring to, the big ship from, it was really those aliens or whatever from two issues ago. So I think that's, a desperate reach for sure to get, try to get you to go back. One thing I wanted to highlight here though, is the cop, as he's talking to Tigra, says, after she says, I'm one of the Avengers, and he says, so what? He goes, give me a break, will you? You clowns just trashed the $200 million project. It's a miracle no one was killed. And she goes, look again, fellas, someone was. And he's like, I'm sorry, truly, but someone has to be accountable for all. It's so awkward. Like,
it's so awkward.
You're lucky nobody had died. And he's like, there's this like huge scene of all of us sad because this guy died. He's like, I guess you're right. But you're still going to jail.
It's The cop is so useless in this whole thing. It's hilarious. What's up, Kenneth Bird? What's going on? They have Hepzibah from Starjammers, so they figured we only need one cat person. I mean, that makes sense.
There you go.
That's true.
Chaos's lightning got him looking like he's about to tell us a ghost story. Or his lighting.
We talked about it. I'm also wearing a Dr. Doom shirt, so that's the reason I need to be ominous.
There you go. I've got a DC character on mine, kind of.
Oh, no wonder Mark. It's like catnip for Mark.
Yep, he showed up.
Yeah,
it's like a bat signal. All right, let's move on here to who beamed us up. It's the Starjammers, and of course, it had to be a what's his name? It's Chode. It's Chode. The return of the man that we call Chode. Chod. And nobody else really gets an introduction at this moment. It's like, hey, it's Chode and the rest of these guys.
Well, he's the most likely to sell a toy. I tried to go find it at least on the animated series because the Starjammers appear there. Are we sure it's Chode or Chod?
We are not sure.
Nope.
We got to go find those Starjammer episodes.
It's the first question I'm going to ask when I meet Chris Claremont.
That was supposed to be my first question, but I completely forgot. So
but he was too interested in selling Gambit #2, making your guys' intro out of date immediately until John edited it.
No, he did. He clipped it.
Oh, yeah. Gambit #2.
So then they put Colossus in a little tube and they put a giant hairnet on him, it looks like. And then they put some plugs into him and they're going to fix him. I don't know. This technology would have been useful on Earth. I'm just saying, like, you guys keep it in your spaceship.
Mr. Fantastic could have done it.
The thing that bothers me most here is I'm still not used to how quickly Scott and his dad became references of father and son when he's like, Corsair, Colossus is dying. Can your crew help him? He's like, we can try, son. Like, just go. It's just weird. It's just
now it's just comfortable.
Yeah,
it only took an issue.
Fast. Yeah.
They just needed
if your father abandons you, but then you escape, weird flying aliens, stingrays, and you do it together, then that makes up for it all. And if you have never done that, then you don't know.
It just erases everything.
Yeah.
It's the classic relatable story.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to reference random things like, son, remember that time I took you to that game? Or like,
those are the important moments.
Yeah.
When Chode carries you around the spaceship. All right. Then we jump back to Kitty and Nightcrawler, who are basically under house arrest on the Shi'ar spaceship.
So silly.
And she's trying on a whole variety of costumes and outfits and living the life. And they decide to taunt her just because why not? The Shi'ar villains decide to display for her the supposed murder of Colossus on a little projection screen, ruining her fashion playtime and really creating one of the worst drawings of Kitty Pryde I think I've ever seen.
Oh, thank goodness you pointed that out.
Anybody like that close up of her face? Holy crap. Justin, why don't we go with you? Yeah.
Looking much older. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, this is, this is also where we kind of learn more about that Admiral Samadar is working for Deathbird, right? So,
yep.
I mean, I guess that was like kind of the twist, right, or whatever. Like, I know, and he was the one that didn't do his research or whatever when him and the other Lord, were first meeting up with the X-Men, and he's like, why are we referencing these, these humans like in a kind way or whatever, Gladiator and all that, and he's like, you didn't do your homework and research, So I guess that was like the hint to stand out that maybe I don't know. I'm curious how he became Admiral and got built through the ranks and all this other stuff, and yet he's like
you want the Admiral Samadar like miniseries is what
yes that they didn't make that. They didn't.
I don't think they did. I think we're waiting on that origin.
It's a
story.
missed opportunity.
He's a pivotal character going forward in this.
Maybe
universe.
Hickman will do something. Yeah. So,
he definitely won't.
Yeah. This is random. I know that we had Kitty Pryde still changing clothes and all that other stuff. But I know that she's has the mentality now of knowing more about the Shi'ar and how they work. So, but this is, I could see, sad for her.
Chaos, how you? I know you probably love all the fashion stuff that Kitty's doing, right?
I mean, I like that better than you think, right? Just because I get it. I get what they're trying to do there. But I mean, especially as a contrast to then showing Colossus being killed just for the fun of it, it's sick.
Yep.
It's so sick that it made Kitty Pryde have a super distorted face.
It's a new mutant ability she's got.
Yeah, it's distorted
face.
Multiple muscles in her face and made her mouth turn sideways.
Yep. So poor Kitty Pryde. I wonder if she'll figure out a way to get out of this situation. Meanwhile, let's jump to the most Star Trek-y moment I think we've really seen in a while here on the Omni X-Men. This is a full Kirk in captivity with a gorgeous woman moment for me. Like, I instantly thought of any episode of Star Trek where Kirk is, half shirtless or whatever, kissing some woman. And here we've got, he is captive with his woman, and he's waking up from his mental state where he was kind of captured in, and realizes that this is in fact Lilandra. This is not like an illusion or anything like that. And while they're having a little chat, in comes the villainess to basically taunt them. And we see that this is Lilandra's sister. She clearly has it in for her and wants her rightful spot as leader of the Shi'ar galaxy, slaps her sister down, and then rolls out. Justin, how are you feeling about this sisterly love here?
Well, so did you guys know that they were related? Because this was obviously at this time, right? This is like brand new information.
This is the reveal. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I mean, I've read very little of Deathbird, but so yeah, that was like, oh, okay. I didn't know they were related. Kind of like the idea that it definitely got like Game of Thrones vibes, the way they're talking about, sitting on the throne, and their relationship and whatnot, and her wanting to. She's like, hey, why don't if you want to be in love, why don't you we'll trade off. You give me the crown, and you go be in love with your man, and that wasn't happening. So
no, she didn't like that option.
No, that was not an option. Yeah, and I was also still a little weary at first because I was like, is this still a dream? Or you never know, Professor X with his.
I mean, his mental state is inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially with that blur, this panel here,
and right there next to you.
Yeah. Like at first, I'm like, so is this real? Is it a dream or whatever? I know they kind of explained it, but yeah.
Chaos, you got any thoughts here on Professor X and Lilandra?
A lot of when I make the joke that I read the wiki or whatever, a lot of what I have an issue with Claremont is like what actually is written in the word bubbles and the length of them and stuff, but. This is like this. A lot spins out of this, for the rest of X-Men, and Claire. Obviously, Claremont's run in general is done that. It keeps getting referenced, over and over again. Like no one referenced Jason Aaron's run or whatever, right? Or very little. So this is this is basically the start of every Shi'ar storyline going forward. Is like who's the queen, who's the king, who's running it, and on all the sort of, I guess, Game of Thrones would be the modern.
I got Dune vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Dune works too. Like anything where you're trying to like change the court,
Right.
and so yeah. I mean that when I read this, I bite my lip at his silly dialogue and the way he feels he needs to explain his artist who's more talented than him. Even this artist who's not talented. But at the same time, like I read X-Men now, I've read it for years on and off. It's almost like reading the Articles of Confederation or something. You know what I mean? It turned into something cool.
A little dry, but significant historically.
Yeah, super important though. Yeah.
He says more like I Claudius. That's the vibe you're getting, not Game of Thrones.
Oh, there's gore.
Old school. I went to Dune, but okay, you can go there. Next up, we get back to dad and son together again. We get yet again the origin of Cyclops and Corsair. This is the third time in 3 issues they've given us some element of the origin of Cyclops and Corsair. Meanwhile, they're thinking about what's going to happen to Colossus. Is he going to be okay? And we're chasing the bad guys. We're gaining on Deathbird's ship at the same time. So lots of information on the page, lots of words and facts happening. Chaos, at this point, were you ready to give up on this book?
No, is this page 10?
I don't know what page I'm on now.
I can't remember. So I think it was around this point. I woke up, maybe it was like Friday or Saturday. I woke up like at 4:30 in the morning, but I didn't want to get out of bed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I pulled out my phone and I go, I'm going to read this. I had already read the previous 2 issues, like along with you guys on the show. I was going to read the issue I was going to actually be on, and I'm reading it. It's 4:30 in the morning. I think I'm up, right? And I go, I'm almost done. I started getting tired again. I go, I'm almost done. And so I'm just going to power through it. And then I saw I was on page 10, but I'd been up like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? For like Tigra being written out and, like Chode holding someone and then a fashion show and stuff.
Yeah.
So
just the important stuff.
Yeah, I got to this point, and then I was like, I already seen this, and then I read it again later. But I wasn't checked out or anything. Like I knew I know what I'm getting into. I make jokes about Claremont, but I know what I'm doing you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like, this is an Alan Moore or something like most people with everything they read. They'd be like, it's not Alan Moore. But yeah, I think what he's trying to do and what people like, and maybe what I'm more critical of is, remind the reader as if it's the first time they've picked up the comic book, and that's more of a Stan Lee thing, but that's what he does a lot. He explains powers a lot.
It's common for that era, right? This is a very much a silver bronze age trope.
Exactly, right. And you would pick it up at the spinner rack in your drugstore or something like that. And so this is important. People need to know who Corsair is in relation to Cyclops, and he needs to move the story along.
Yeah.
And so he does it there. I will just throw this one thing out though. In my experience, this is very anecdotal. Whenever a dad, is a piece of crap or leaves, the older son becomes the cop and the younger son is the criminal, and it's switched around here. So they got to explain that to me for me to be able to relate to it.
They tried to shake it up a little for you.
Yeah.
Justin, any thoughts on these 3 pages here?
Yeah. So I do like that this goes a little more in depth than the last couple of, flashbacks that we got. Maybe we didn't, well, I mean, I know we needed them, but maybe, I don't know, maybe we could have got this more earlier. I don't know. But I like that they showed a little bit more about the mother getting stabbed, and also his beef that he has with Ken, which we didn't, we knew there was some sort of like issue between the two, but didn't really know why or why he specifically, had this issue with him. So I like that they kind of, showed that.
I escaped the slave pens and somehow made it all the way to his room.
There you go.
And then he didn't kill him though. He had the opportunity to.
Didn't
He
work
didn't
out.
quite do it. Yeah.
I would definitely kill the dude doing that to him. Just in case my wife's listening, he'd definitely be dead.
I will say, like, these are some of the pages of the artwork that I enjoyed the most in this book. Like, I like the fun angle they have on the flashback pieces at the bottom right there by Justin. I love the way the cosmos looks in the background of a lot of these, and that far spaceship on the far side there looks really, really great. The background inside of the hangar and the ship looks really cool. So for me, the artwork at least was killer on these 3 pages.
Yeah.
This issue was dated. Oh, they're talking about. For those that don't know, Magic Lasso is referencing another sister drama in comics around the same time, which was the new Teen Titans with Wolfman and Perez in charge.
Oh my goodness! Don't put Magic Lasso and Mark. Don't put Magic Lasso and Mark in their own little chat room.
I know. Well, Mark left already. He's not here anymore. He hit the like button and then he took off. But yeah, Starfire and Blackfire, similar sister drama, solar system kind of storyline, and it looks like Jackson Roy Kirk checked the dates and said this issue was 82. First Blackfire was September, so just months later they went to Blackfire's story. Look at that. That is mind blowing. There you go. Little info drop. Well, let's keep going. We're chasing the ship. We're gonna catch up with the bad guys, and then holy crap!
Yeah,
this was awesome.
Yeah, they found Nemo, guys. They didn't take a couple movies. They found Nemo.
He spent 40 hours on this one page and then 45 minutes on the previous 23.
2 seconds on Kitty Pryde.
Factual, because this page is stunning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Holy crap. So they found out that apparently the bad guys have like a ship that you can't read with your sensors, and it's so big you didn't even see it. It was right there the whole time. It was right there. And yeah, now we're like caught in the tractor beam and we're stuck inside of the giant fish, and we're gonna have to fight our way out. That's basically where Justin, when you turned the page, Justin, what was your reaction?
All right, so for this issue I had to I was reading it at work initially, so I had to bring my iPad. So I was reading it digitally, and when I turn the page, I get just this little
panel, right?
First, that's the first thing I see. Obviously, read that, go to swipe, and then you get hit with. And again, this is why I love digital, over regular books. But getting that experience and just getting hit with this thing, like this was, I was like not expecting that at all. So I'm like, what are they looking at? And like, poof, there it is. I thought it was a really cool experience. So it looks great. I'm looking at it now, as I've gone through a couple more times, and it's across 2 pages, still looks really cool.
Even with the gutter loss, it looks okay. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look that bad.
But I like where the story's going too. Like it is over the top as all this has been so far, but it ties.
But this is that Death Star moment, right? Where the Millennium Falcon's chasing the TIE fighter, and then they're like, "That's no moon, it's a giant fish." And then they go in, right? Isn't that? Did I mess that up, Chris?
That's a lot of fish sticks, Chewy. That's funny because Justin, you could, and this is the proper way, read your way or collect your way, but you can set the Marvel app, which is far better. I wouldn't like what you got. I wouldn't like just getting that panel and then getting the next panel. You can I set the Marvel app so that I see the full page.
Oh yeah.
At the beginning and the full page at the end.
Yeah.
And then I get. So I don't know. Because I still saw the full page, right? Does that make sense? Right. Like I still got that page turn and seen, Nemo's illegitimate father. But So and then when I swiped again, I got that little panel.
I think it's because I'm like so into just reading this little panel and don't know have no idea what to expect, really. I mean, I guess you just get a tiny bit more of the story before you actually you see their reactions, and then you actually see what their reaction.
Well, I mean, it was great because you loved a picture of Corsair with his mouth wide open. You're like, that's a great picture. And then you flipped it, and then you saw another great picture with another thing that you like with its mouth wide open.
Exactly.
So
Candace says she's talking about the same digital reading panel to panel experience.
It is like,
it's
a movie. Definitely.
Yeah, well, that sucks. I'm trying to avoid that. I have lots of movies in my life. There's the last thing I want.
My problem though, Chaos, is I read ahead. My eyes like wander ahead, and then I end up ruining things for myself, or I can't. It's a personal thing. It's not.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
can't help myself.
So hold on, the DC app doesn't let me do that, and neither does Comixology.
Really?
Or maybe Comixology does. I think, right?
Comixology does. Yeah.
Oh, it does. Where I can set the front page first. But I think that part of it is the comic book experience. And I'm not telling you you're doing it wrong. I was joking.
Yeah, no.
You do it how you want, right? But part of it for me is the comic book experience. Like I like to see those panels, or I like to see like what you've chosen to do. Right. In fact, one of the bad things about digital is that there's not the ads, right? I almost wish there were facsimiles.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Because I want that 80s experience.
See, it's because you're reading comics in the 80s. I'm
not that old,
ago.
Asshole.
Well, you know what I mean.
Sorry.
I'm saying that you've been reading them where you are used to that, whereas I've just been reading for 4 years, and so I don't need or really want the ads, or it doesn't hit in the same way. You know what I mean?
Well, the ad part is what I'm saying is that they would plan the reveals correctly. Do you know what I mean?
After a certain page, I still would look ahead. Like, I don't know. It's me personally. I still look 2 pages ahead. It's not good. Anyways, go on with all
right. So giant fish. Everybody's captured by the throat muscles of the giant fish, and they go inside. And it's like the aliens think they got him, and it's like, nah, suckers, we're all okay. The big metal guy's okay, and we're all okay, and we're all gonna fight you now. And they all just come running out, and it's time to brawl.
It's the way to go.
Was that a twist you were expecting, Justin?
Not quite.
Yeah, it's a bit abrupt, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we get Colossus back the way he came in. I wasn't expecting that, but yeah, all out war at this point,
right? Chris, now we get the action finally, right? How'd you feel about the fight getting started here?
I'm okay with it. I don't think it was abrupt at all. Like I'm reasonably okay with like the way the story. I mean, maybe not the way completely the stories are told, but I understand that like per issue you need to have action. You need to show these characters. You need to show the big. You know what I mean? So we've had a lot of like traveling and talking, right? So the action had to come at some point. So I'm okay with it. Bringing back Colossus right away, that's fine. Why not? And my son's trying to talk to me. So I was okay with it. I think it's cool. Looking at it though, because I'm looking at my phone screen, it is, and then looking at both panels or at both pages, sort of in reference to what we just talked about, it does look a little messy. So when I would look at this, I might go, "Oh, that's a little messy." Thank God I have panel to panel coming up. But.
yeah. There you go.
So Justin, we're into the fight now. They're battling inside the giant manta ray. The Brood are back too, and they've all got their guns.
I mean, again, I just keep thinking of the movie Alien, seeing these guys.
Yeah.
I like seeing Chode there with his gun. Kind of reminded me of Moira, when she's holding her AK,
The pose is right on.
Yeah, it's her, bursting out of the closet door there. The armory, I should say. This is exciting stuff. We're getting more of Chode, so I feel like we don't get enough of that guy. So
right.
Yeah.
So it seems though that the battle on the inside of the manta ray is affecting the manta ray in some way. We'll have to get more details on that. The Brood are feeling like, oh my gosh, the ship is changing. Storm is like creating weather patterns inside of the ship. They're going to flip to no gravity. And so Colossus starts floating away, but no, don't worry. Raza's there. He's going to give you these cool, nifty boots. That anti-gravity won't mess you up at all.
That I happen to have.
Yeah, I just got them right here. I didn't give them to you earlier because I don't know why.
That's happened to me while bowling.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, like someone goes, I got shoes for you. They weren't going to let me do it. It was going to cost me $8.
And then I got these bowling shoes.
So convenient.
And meanwhile, Professor X and Lilandra are in trouble because the Brood are like, you know what? Your buddy's broke into our ship. We're just going to kill you now and just, deal with this later. But instead, Cyclops and Corsair show up. They blast him. And the best part for me, zero gravity means Professor X is going to launch himself around and just punch these guys. He just gives some knuckle dusters to this Brood, man. He just lays
he seems to have some. He seems to have some like propulsion, right? Because clearly he can't push himself off the wall. Like he could just suddenly sort of move forward.
He just straight up slaps the Brood, man. Justin, were you surprised by any of this?
Yeah, I was very taken by that. Like, Professor X just like coming through here, and if anything, like the students are the ones being like, Professor, like calm yourself, like can't go doing that kind of thing. He's like, sorry,
You're not trained for this. Are we there yet? No, sorry.
I feel like, can you imagine like somebody just punching an alien in the movie Aliens? I'm going to punch this guy. I don't know that that's going to go down the way you think it. It seems to work. That's the weird part.
I think of the Dane Cook skit where he talks about punching a shark. It's very similar.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You punch the shark.
Yeah.
The Brood are much more intelligent than I'm used to. Also.
All right. Anybody have thoughts on these? Should we keep going?
Where do we go? Oh yeah, does he already punch him?
He punches him right at the bottom.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah. So he's gonna get scolded by Colossus in a second. That's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. So they give him a little like, hey, well, be careful. We're fighting, and the Cyclops, says, hey, well, watch out. This is a little crazy. Storm is busy. Apparently, she's fighting Deathbird, which I don't remember that happening earlier, but she is. And she realizes that the spears that Lady Deathbird throws when they hit the side of the ship are causing the ship to bleed, meaning the ship is alive. And then, of course, they open up what I assume is the sphincter of the ship and suck her out into space. All of which, for me, makes for the most disgusting sequences in this issue. But Chris wants to talk about the chiding of Professor X.
Well, I mean, luckily it's cereal box coloring here, so it doesn't look that bad. It looks like Toucan Sam and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess before we go to that, there in the last 3 issues, there's been 2 like Storm's just doing something suddenly or somewhere. And, when I read those and I knew I was going to be on the show, John, I just thought, if this was an indie comic and Storm just was fighting Deathbird for no reason or appeared in a ship like she did a couple episodes and then appeared out of the ship, I just think, that, if John and Alec were doing this and that happened in just an indie comic, they'd probably spend 15 minutes on how idiotic it is.
Absolutely.
Meanwhile, John's giving these books an 8. So you see where my thing is here, like where I go, because I don't give this, it's the 80s, that's the way it was, and then worship Chris Claremont, where you get where I'm coming from. I'm not saying you got to agree with it.
You want to hold it to you don't want a nostalgia bar. You want a bar that's even for playing fields across all
eras.
Europe.
And I would be much more happy if everyone was like, oh, Chris Claremont is like Rob Liefeld or something. You know what I mean? Like if everyone just admitted it was bad. Ooh. If we just all admit it was bad but fun, I'd be good with it. But we hold him up so high, and then we did like some new writer. We're like, oh, this is trash. I'm never going to buy this again.
Can I explain the difference for me? Like, I admit there are definitely some cheesy elements to Claremont, and he is very much in that Star Trek era of writing. The difference is the sheer quantity of characters and events and storylines that he created that were seminal.
It's meaningful.
Rob Liefeld gave you 1.5 brand new characters and really just didn't do a whole heck of a lot with them.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me switch it to Todd McFarlane then. And
on Spider-Man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you had Todd. I get it. I'm not like exactly. It's not apples to apples doing that, but
I mean, I'd be willing to
agree. I
compare
agree.
him to,
Outside
like,
of the comparison of the '90s image guys, I agree with what you said. It's seminal. That's why I like it. You know,
I would in that way I'd compare him more to like Bendis on the Ultimate Spider-Man.
no. Bendis on Ultimate Spider-Man knew how to write dialogue and pace.
Slap.
Yeah, but the writing got a lot better later, and Chris Claremont never got better, by the way, because people remember this because of how seminal it is and how important it is, right? But after this run and all the little like magic and all that little stuff that happened during this that he wrote on the side, when has anyone cared about a Chris Claremont book again? He wrote Extreme X-Men when Morrison's run was going, and got dominated.
I will agree that after he left X-Men, he has not been able to recover. That is straight up.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's the same Claremont. So I like Extreme X-Men and I like this. You know what I mean? But I can see it. But anyway,
you can see it as bubblegum.
I mean, I could see it as, you know, if I opened up my 1989 Tops and ate the bubblegum today. That's what it tastes like.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, you're amazing.
Okay,
Justin,
we can go on.
Let's give you a shot here talking about the sphincter of the ship.
I mean, interesting I kind of thought it was alive to begin with. I mean, I don't know. I guess that was
it
just
looks alive, right?
Yeah, seeing it initially. And then also like the way it like suction cupped the ship and everything when they first like got on board and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. That didn't seem like technology that I would imagine for an alien type of, I don't know.
Well, the picture looked like a cyborg, right? That's another thing that's silly. Like it's scales, but there's like little bulbs on it.
Well, there are, yeah, right, like glass.
But it's clearly an animal, and then they're surprised that it's, I guess.
Yeah. This scene here with at the bottom far end there with Storm floating just reminded me of, you know, the recent Star Wars stuff that had come out. That was the only thing I really pictured.
The Last
Princess
Jedi
Leia.
With
Leia.
Leia just like floating in space. And
John defends that because of the director the same way he'll defend this. So
I don't like that scene. No, I think they should have killed her. She should have died.
Yeah, it was a little obvious. I think they could have done it better, but yeah, we'll do that for the Star Wars show.
Yeah.
I like the movie though. I do like the movie.
Omni Star Wars.
All right, so she's stuck out in space. The heroes are on a countdown because she's gonna die. They jump quickly into their ship. They blast through the sphincter of the giant fish, and they teleport her in before the timer runs out. And then she comes out of a healing pod, and she's all good. Everything's all good.
Yeah,
and that's the end. And everybody's happy. Yay!
Woohoo!
That wrapped up pretty quick. Justin,
my family is restored.
Yeah, like I said, Princess Leia. This is the whole thing. The whole thing was like that.
Yeah. Also, how does she control the weather? Storm's powers are so. I mean, and this is not even a Claremont thing because they really were weird with it even recently in X-Men Red. But how does she control the weather with no atmosphere? I don't get some. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hey, if she can control the whole electromagnetic spectrum and make it Magneto alive with no heart, you know,
anything's possible.
Yeah.
If they can do that, yeah, anything's possible.
If you believe in yourself, that's Storm's power. If you believe in yourself, you could do it.
Yeah.
It's power strength. All you need is air to make weather, right?
I guess.
Air. Just air.
I guess. I almost got someone tried to get me in a Twitter argument about the electromagnetic thing in X-Men Red. I was like, I'm not having it. I turned 40. I'm done with this stuff.
Oh man. So in the finale here, the heroes realize they don't have enough time to go back and rescue Kitty and Nightcrawler, so they're kind of like, I guess they die. But we'll worry about that next week in the next issue, right? Justin, any final thoughts on how this wraps up?
Yeah, no, I mean it all happened so quick. It was pretty kind of a weak ending there, but I enjoyed the rest of it. I just was kind of let down with how this kind of closed out the way it did, I guess. But yeah.
Chet says, ask Twitter about the wagons that fly through space. Yeah, that works. I don't know if that's
yeah.
Any last thoughts here, Chris, on the issue?
It was, for me, it was maybe typical Claremont without this, there wasn't anything super seminal in it, right? But So I think this is would be a good example of why I like and dislike it at the same time. But with it such a hard hitting ending of the last issue, and then it's almost like, are you going to get canceled kind of ending for this one? Like you could just continue. Not that it was super popular at the time, but there's no hook, which is interesting because he would write that ABC sort of plot, and would always have a hook to get you into what's going to happen next, make the B plot bigger or whatever. So,
I mean, the hook, I guess, is will Nightcrawler and Kitty Pryde die?
Yeah. I mean, they could teleport and phase. So I think they're good,
Right.
Yeah. She could just float through space until she lands on the next guppy.
Yeah. There you go. That's good. What about final scores? Do we want to do scores or do we want to do stats? What are we doing here?
Yeah, we could do scores.
So Justin, what would you score this issue?
I think I would overall. I mean, the ending was like the weaker, like I said, the weakest part, the kind of a letdown. I was really enjoying the rest of it though. I would probably still put it at like a 7. Yeah, I mean the artwork was very hit or miss. Some of it was great, others were Kitty Pryde, not so great. I'm going to give it a 7.
All right. What about you, Chris?
It's probably a 4 or 5, but I can enjoy it still.
And I'm probably in that 7.5 maybe range, just because I love the space fish. I think the space fish cracks me up, and I love that spread page. Really, really cool. But yeah, that's about where I am. And for the sphincter alone. Chat. So the facts, this is the first appearance of the fish spaceship, the species known as the Acanti.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Have we got Morakanti? Have we gotten Morakanti?
I do believe they've appeared in different Shi'ar stories because I don't think that's the only time I've seen those fish.
Oh, cool.
The spaceship. Oh, good. And then the Brood.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. You'll get
this
there.
This is the second appearance, for the Brood. And and of course, yet again, retells the origin of the Summers family with new details and all in one, go.
The full details. Yeah, I think that too is like where I liked more of it for its origins at this point. Not necessarily.
They're trying to be Batman's pearls here, Batman's mom's pearls here.
Didn't
they? You guys have read this, but didn't they foreshadow the Brood like 20 or 30 issues before? Didn't they?
I don't remember that. Did they?
Like there was an 8. I don't know. I have to go look.
Are you thinking of 143, the Christmas one where Kitty Pryde's like chasing the alien in the mansion? Because that looked a little bit like a Brood. But
yeah. I think that's what it was. I think some people are like, "That's the Brood." No, it's not. Maybe it is. Could be. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that one. Okay.
Yeah.
It is the first appearance of the mean face, the Kitty Pryde mean face. I'm gonna take down my logo here because I want Chet to make sure he sees that there is a 10.0 on the list on this. It last sold 3 years ago for $3,000.
I call BS.
And they sold it twice, apparently.
Sold it twice.
There's also a 9.9, and there's almost 400 9/8 with a fair market value of about $110.
Man, that's a big jump.
It dropped off a little there, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little drop off.
A 10. Someone has this in a 10. I don't believe it.
I mean, I believe that it exists.
No, I believe it. I believe that there's a slab out there with the number 10 on it and this on it, but it's like the CEO of Blackwater or something like that. It's like, we're gonna buy CGC soon. Oh, we better give this irrelevant X-Men book a 10. A gem
Give it
mint.
to him. That's his, yeah.
And then the guy sold it for $3,000 and probably just went out for one caviar dinner on that.
See, Chet's he says he's with Chaos. 3,000 for this.
Yeah.
I don't know that I said hi to Bobby Delgado, but hello, Bobby.
Bobby.
Good to see you, sir. So that's it. I'm gonna stop sharing the thing there. We're good.
Think about the 9/8 of the earlier, like last season, compared to this one. This one being $110 for a 9.8, where the Dark Phoenix saga, that was all I guess somewhere in the thousands, right?
I think
Yep, that's super sentimental.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's to Chris's point. The seminal nature of some of those storylines, whether it's Days of Future Past.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
No, I'm saying I just think it's interesting how dramatic it's changed. After reading onward, getting to these other issues.
You could buy a Corsair outfit for a lot less than that.
Yeah, you can cosplay it. Ask the X couple.
Most thrift stores probably have something for you.
Yeah.
So this is the end of the show where we spend a little time asking trivia about last week's episode so that you have the chance to win some of the prizes we give away when we finish this omnibus somewhere in June. We're going to ask 4 trivia questions, and we're looking for 2 correct answers for each question. Plus, you got to make Chris laugh with some of your comedy to get a point as well. Every one of the first 2 correct answers and the funniest answer as picked by Chris, all of you get a spot on the wheel or in the raffle pull when it comes time in June for us to give some cool stuff away.
That's a lot of pressure.
You can handle it. I believe in you.
What if no one makes you laugh, John?
Then pick the least funny one.
Okay.
Then you can go with the least funny one. So Justin, you want to kick us off with your first question?
Yeah. First question is, what did Professor X give to Kitty Pryde right before she and Kurt were taken from or as hostages last issue? Kitty Pryde and Kurt Nightcrawler, they were being traded off to be hostages, but right before then, Professor X gave Kitty Pryde something. What was it?
Chet mentions for you, Chris. I don't know if you saw that. The 2 issues you might have been thinking of where there were aliens that looked a little Brood-esque.
Oh yeah,
those 2.
That was funny. I actually have.
So they copied Alien early, and then they're like, "Well, no one sued us, so let's just do a whole race."
Yeah. Nobody cared, right? Nobody cared.
Have does Chet know if the Nagarai have reappeared? I haven't even heard of them again.
I don't remember them. That was when Cyclops blasted the statue, right?
143.
Then, the demon monster came out of it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
that's when the Moira runs out with the machine gun.
Oh, that was this one. Yeah, 96.
Oh yeah. First Moira. All right. So here are some of the answers we have so far. Professor X gave Kitty Pryde tickets to a Diana Ross concert in Central Park.
It's a good deal.
A quarter for the payphone. A beer.
Good deal.
Or I believe these are the 2 correct answers.
Yes. Yep. I see.
Knowledge about their captors and knowledge about the Shi'ar.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So I got Lasso and I got.
Let's try some more funny ones.
I only got those 3 so far. I got 1.
Yeah, 2, I see.
And 3.
John, are you you're tallying this?
Yes, I am. I've been doing it all along.
Thank goodness.
I got you. I got you.
3 episodes, and I'm like, I have not written this.
I didn't write any of that stuff down. That might be important later.
You know what this chat is missing, guys, for the funny questions? Me.
We are missing. We were short a couple people. I know that JP's usually in there and he's tearing it up, but I think he's got a show right now. So
yeah. Not one Cyclops reference the entire show. It doesn't feel right.
Super quiet.
Oh, sub wins.
Stove, by the way,
I'm going to explain to you everything that you need to know in this little word box and cover all the art.
He is now 1 point up on Magic Lasso on the total lead. So
that's a new record.
Watch out.
Yeah, I identify with that joke. See, what he did was go, oh, this person is on the show. Let me tailor the comment to him. Yep. Rather than Diana Ross.
You got to play to the judge.
Come on, Magic Lasso. We're not trying to make your mom laugh, Magic Lasso. I'm here. Your stepdad. No, I'm sorry.
Wow. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to ask a 2-part question, folks. I'm going to need a name and a piece of information about the person. My question is, when they were teleported by the Shi'ar, which X-Men team member was not teleported in their uniform? And what were they wearing instead? Who and what were they wearing?
I can't remember this answer either.
Most of the X-Men somehow appeared on this Shi'ar vessel in their gear, geared up, ready to rock and roll, except for one. And what were they wearing instead? You got to get both pieces right, and I only got 10 people in this chat, so there's a lot of chances to win this. Chaos hates me.
That's not true. I bought your book. And all buying your book, and mentioning it on Instagram made me realize that you weren't following me before that. So who hates who?
Hilarious. Okay, so we've got it was Storm, and she was wearing a zebra print.
I like it. I mean, I like it just for the mental. Maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe there's two correct answers. Hot take. I'm gonna go back to the book here and double check. Oh my goodness. Maybe I should make up these trivia questions. This is horrible. This is so unprofessional.
That's very unprofessional.
Goodness.
Nope. Because she's not. Nope.
Yeah, no,
I don't think that one counts. Nope.
This is.
What is it?
Yeah, she's not being teleported there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Storm in a zebra print is a serious answer?
It's a serious answer, and it's
that's the winner right now for funny answer.
Sove says dupe, and he was naked as always.
It's okay. Now he's trying too hard.
Yep. Let's see here. I'll give it to first up, Candace. Candace is correct. It was Kitty Pryde, and she was in a bathing suit.
Yep.
Is common. And Chet Scotland coming in strong with the second correct answer.
Yep.
John is still reliving that terrible host moment from Comic Boys. Give me a break, Jackson. Give me a break.
What'd you do? I
was way off of my game. If you watch the most recent episode of Comic Boys, just laugh at how John is clearly still tired from C3 over the weekend before.
Maybe I'll watch it for that.
Train wreck Jameson. So I think this is the only comedy answer so far, although ex-wife podcast with Storm in the zebra print.
I mean, I'm going with the Storm in the zebra print, although Chet says it too.
This is the one that they're talking about. This happened later on in the book.
Yeah, let me blow you up there. She's in that, but they're not like teleported anywhere. They're just
so it's just another
around,
bad.
They're walking around New York, yeah.
As just another bad transition.
Exactly.
Okay. That John and Alec would have spent 22 minutes on if it was in like a Boom book or something like that. But it's cool. It's X-Men. It's 1982, bro.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna go with Jackson Roykirk. John is still reliving the terrible host from Corey's.
There it is. Loyal fan follower.
There we go.
I mean, everybody wants to see Corsair and a Mankini. Let's just be honest.
That was pretty good too. It just came in seconds late.
Classic.
All right, Justin. Last question.
All right.
From you. Sorry.
So last episode, when Deathbird had Professor X in a headlock, threatening to kill him if they came any closer, I showed a GIF to represent the situation. What movie was the GIF from?
Dumb and Dumber.
Looking for the title. Could be.
I don't remember that part. Don't answer correctly, guys. Just turn out the jokes. Who cares what the answer is?
That's right.
I got 14 people in here.
Chaos. Now, so they're like, I want my name on that on that reel at the end.
Yeah. You gotta try to catch up with Sove and Lasso.
I mean, let's just understand what happened. John's already gave away all the good stuff in the first 2 seasons. He hasn't accumulated stuff he's going to give you. So just make jokes.
This is the truth.
It's a good.
He's going to give you this cool slab of the second appearance of the Brood. 10.0.
Are you kidding me? Look, I got a spectacular 189 in a 9.4. This is a book that everybody needs in their collection. There's zero value to this book. It's not even a newsstand from 1985, and it's a 9.4. This is gold right here. This
I would cherish that, John. I'm going to try to win that because all my slabs are literally mediocre slabs I've won on. I hate to say it because the two brothers always gets mad at me when I point out that I won like Rye number 2, 9.6 or something for Valiant.
That's
But
hilarious.
and I love them. I love them all. So because I would never just buy
I
a
saw
slab on my
this
own.
in the the C3 auction, and I was like, they're auctioning off an X-Men book from 1985 in a 9.4, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll buy that stupid book. Give me that stupid book.
Why not?
Um,
It's for cancer research, and then you paid.
Soph says, I feel like this is a layup, and I'm too high for this.
What was the question again? I forgot to. I'm not
What
high.
was the GIF? What was the GIF that he's saying? Was it a Big Bird GIF? There's an answer. We got another answer. So we got two answers. Soph and Chet. One's talking about high, and the other's talking about birds.
Chet wins funniest. He wins first right answer, and he wins first second answer.
He gets all the prizes.
I like Chet. He's knowledgeable and he's a sports fan. He does what I've held myself back from doing this whole show is reference sports.
He's incorrect sports fan, but still a sports fan. I guess.
How are you an incorrect sports fan? Is he a lacrosse fan? Like what? Is he big into water polo? What?
Just the wrong teams. That's all.
Yeah, you're in the wrong part of the country to be saying that.
Yeah.
Was it a not throw mama, but it was tell mama from the train? It was tell mama.
Oh,
You're telling her off on the train.
I like the underground movie Add Mama to the Train.
That's really disturbing.
Bobby said, I don't know.
So nobody
All right,
has
like
gotten the GIF correctly.
Yeah. It was a great opportunity. It was a great gift. Great situation. The correct answer, the film was from Blazing Saddles. Blazing Saddles.
He's gonna kill that poor
Classic.
black guy.
Classic. Do as he says. As he says.
So any of those comedy answers you want to give it to Chet? Is that what you said?
Is that the only one?
Chet said Big Bird GIF.
Well, did XY Podcast just say Blazing Saddles, or did they just copy you?
I think they're just saying it now.
Might have been a little late on the draw there. Oh, yeah, might have been a little late on the draw.
Yeah,
we'd already announced.
No, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Bobby Delegato.
Bobby,
not that one. I like the other one below it. I don't know for the win.
I thought you meant not that Bobby.
All right, Bobby, you got your first entry on the wheel or the raft, whatever, however we do it with the hat.
It's gonna inspire him to not know more things.
It was a telegram for Mungo. There you go.
Oh, there's some people that never know the right answers, and they get on the board. They
get on the board well. Yeah.
It's literally me.
So the last question I got
without getting on the board. Sorry.
The last question I got had to do with Justin last week. He kept repeating a certain phrase, had something to do with the costume he was wearing, but what phrase did Justin keep repeating last episode?
It's a layup for comedy.
I mean, it is. This is easy. He even sent it to me today. I think he even sent it in a chat today at some point.
Hint: any jokes referencing the horrible crying scene from Magnolia will probably win.
Shots fired. Take it all day. That was a very entertaining afternoon of images of Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I'm glad the kids got taught correctly, John, while you were tagging me on Tom Cruise.
There you go, Bobby.
Nobody was watching the household. He says it was hit me, Goose.
The best part about that answer is that he is very.
He probably thinks he's right.
He's very
the best part of that.
Yeah,
answer.
He's
probably convinced he just nailed it.
Hit me, Goose, one more time. That's what he was thinking. That's what you were thinking.
This is why we keep Chet around.
Talk to me, Goose.
Goose
me, Goose.
Goose me, Goose.
Talk to me, Goose is good. Goose me, Goose is a little better.
I was really hoping for the whiskey spit take there. We almost got a whiskey spit take, folks.
Goose me, Goose.
Goose. I mean, Goose.
He's spelling it correctly. I'm surprised. So that's good.
Hey, Justin, I have a request. Can you do a reel based on that comment right there? Goose me, Goose.
Oh God, I can try.
I mean, if your wife dresses as Goose, then you're set.
Goose,
right? Goose me, Goose.
John, be careful.
Mustache gets me in a lot of trouble.
I'm surprised you've kept that mustache this long.
Well, Halloween was just yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, it was for okay. I guess I didn't put that together. I thought you were just being a jerk to your wife.
I just did it to be an ass.
Because if I leave the mustache, I got like
Oh,
18 minutes.
I just had to have the other half of his goatee. That's the problem. We can only share like portions of the goatee. So he's got his chin beard. Yeah.
Someone needs to mix your guys' pictures. Do one of those Conan O'Brien.
All right,
mixes.
so I'm calling it. We've got one correct answer, and that's it. Sorry, it was right there. It's Talk to Me Goose. Nobody. Oh wait, sorry, Chet said it. Never mind. I got you, Chet.
Oh yeah, just
we got two Talk to Me's gooses, geese.
Nice.
Two talking geese.
Innocent.
Any one of those funny ones work for you, Chris?
Yeah, Goose Me Goose is the winner there.
There it is. Chet is now tied with Magic Lasso.
I have to say, Chet has gotten so many comedy answers and not trying to get comedy answers.
No.
That's the best part of it.
He's the most
someone check on Magic Lasso. I didn't mean to insult him. I always feel bad. I insult lots of people, but then I actually feel bad later. So hopefully I didn't. Like I get worried about it. I say dumb things and I'm like, oh man, I hope I never hurt that person. This is a true story.
So that's it, folks. We are done. We are wrapped. Next week, 157 over on the No Good Comics YouTube channel. And I've already forgotten who I told you. No, it's Kavi, Comic Books NYC, is joining us next week to talk issue 157. So make sure you're over there on Justin's channel so you can catch us for that. And thanks a lot, Chris, for being willing to ride the Claremont gauntlet and talk some mutants.
Yeah, don't worry, everyone in the chat. Kavi's a great guy, but he'll be right back on the giving eights to just complete dredge. He'll be right back on that. You probably won't get anything until JP gets on, and that's a function of how much Cyclops is in the book. So you won't get any reality until JP gets on, and then it depends how much. I didn't go check to see if Cyclops is featured in that.
I mean, he's kind of playing a big part with this whole Corsair thing lately. So
yeah, well, let's see.
We got him.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Good night, gang.
All right, gang. See you next week.